Thank you so much for showing up. This has been an excellent conference so far. I'm so excited to speak about the Dash project and what we've been up to the past few years. It's been an amazing journey, and what we're really here to do is to make the world's first decentralized bank. And this is something that has never existed. We want the people to control the money. And we want to do it in a way that has never been tried before, only using purely decentralized tools. And so that's what I'm going to be talking about today. I'm going to talk about how we're going to go through and what our strategy is and how we figured out how to do this. So the Dash project is just a few years old. It started in 2014. It's growing radically. So we have about 70 volunteers currently, about 4,500 full nodes, and yearly funding's a little bit, over $500,000, almost 2/3 a million. And this is allowing us to. This is a decentralized funding mechanism. So we're funding the network out of this money, and we're developing all of this technology currently. So what is a decentralized bank? A decentralized bank is something where, imagine your favorite banking location, and there's an office that you go into, right? There's a person you go talk to. You could say, I'd like to deposit some money, I'd like to open an account, I'd like to withdraw an account, I'm locked out of my account. Where are these tools with Bitcoin? And how do you accomplish making something like this without centralizing, right? And we want interest-bearing accounts. This is the hallmark feature of what a bank has. And what if you could offer similar banking features like these, but only using these decentralized mechanisms where we keep the users empowered? So username and password, for example. Why don't we allow people to log in with their preferred method that they're used to, so that your mother could sign up, she'll know her username. If she gets locked out, she could call a call center, for example, right? And she could say, I'm locked out of my account, and then securely they could reset the account. Instant payment processing. So merchants, when we sign up, we would sign up merchants. They would get a console and with like an iPad, and you suddenly have this full suite of tools that you can use as a merchant to do these transactions, these cryptographic currency transactions, and they clear to your account that is the same type of account that you're used to dealing with. And so how do you fund something like this? This is probably the most complicated part of all of it. You don't want VC funding because we really don't have anything to sell. This is a decentralized organization. I personally don't get paid by any company, and there's no company with assets that we could say, here's the collateral for the $5-10 million that you're giving us, right? And so you have to come up with a brand new solution to the problem. How about foundations? Well, we saw how this worked with the Bitcoin Foundation. Foundations have issues because altruism eventually runs out. If altruism isn't a permanent solution, you have to find a different mechanism that works. And so the mechanism that we found that works really well is blockchain-based funding. The Dash decentralized blockchain-based funding methodology is pretty simple. We've split up the reward so we can precisely allocate how much money goes to each individual part of the project. So 45% to infrastructure, 45% to security, and 10% to the ecosystem budgets. Ecosystem budgets are, what could fund software and the hardware, and it's how we're flying around and doing these things. We ask the network for support, and then they can give us support for these different things, and then we get funded out of that. So how is Bitcoin using the blockchain reward that they have as a comparison? Currently, there's $436 million of funding from Bitcoin purely towards security. And that is an enormous amount of money. You have to ask, what are you getting for the last $1 million from the 436? Is it securing the last 0.1% of transactions, or the last 100th of 1,000th, or what, right? What if you spent $5 million, $10 million, $100 million on doing these key components that makes the service easy to use from a legacy standpoint, which is really what we're going for, right? So the solution was the masternode, and I'm definitely not saying this is the only solution, but this is the one that we came up with that meets all of the different criteria. And so what is a masternode? Well, there's a different type of network that we use. It's called a two-tier network. And masternodes, each of them make up, they have a membership within the second tier. So there's thousands of these, and these are collateralized nodes ran by people. And so these people running these nodes then get the ability to vote on things. So imagine thousands of people all around the world, and they're looking through proposals that, proposal to fly out to California to speak at a conference, and then they're debating it on forums, and then they decide, yes or no to this. Or, what if we want to, start a branch office eventually, and provide services, real, services that are physical, that people can just walk in and talk to somebody. This is the type of stuff that you can do with this. Anything you can imagine, they can vote on. And that's the beauty of the system. So when is all of this going to happen, and how fast? Well, over the past 3 years, we've been working on the plans for this. So we have about 300 pages of documentation currently on the website. And this documentation covers every aspect of this. And so we built the foundation, and we're about 3 to 6 months from having the very first alpha, which means that you'll be able to have a wallet that uses the masternode network that is kind of like a light wallet, except you can also use services kind of like Stripe. And I'm guessing a lot of you know what Stripe is, but imagine a decentralized Stripe. And so this is essentially our first version of it. So username, passwords are implemented, instant transactions are implemented, privacy is implemented, and without any of the complexity. So alpha's 6 months away, and then a year after that we're looking for beta. A year after that, then we'll have a stable release. And during this period of time, we're going to be rolling out all of these other things, like this banking system that we're thinking about doing, which is the offices and this hardware, all of the components that will make it easy to use. And you can just imagine kind of like an Apple-esque experience, right? So we'll have a common suite where if you use one of our pieces of software, you'll automatically understand how to use the other ones. Or if you use one of our pieces of hardware, you'd understand how to use the other ones as well. And that's kind of what we're going for. The interest-bearing account part of it is, I would say, the crowning jewel. This is the hardest piece to figure out how to do. And so this is how we're doing it. Currently, the interest comes from emissions, right? So it comes from the part of the block reward. And then it's divvied up amongst all of these accounts. And these, you as a client get a small piece of the reward based off of how much money you have. So you'll earn a percentage. But the problem with the reward is it declines because we have a fixed currency over a really long period of time. And so you have to move off of this to a different model. And so that different model is to collect fees. And so part of the fees all we need to do is transact 1.4 million transactions a day. And we will meet and exceed the emission schedule. And then that replaces the interest for the clients. But even on top of that, we have a system of DAOs. And so the way the software works and the way the network works is the Dash network's completely decentralized, and many of you know of the DAO. We have a private version of that, essentially. We have a core DAO, we have a hardware DAO, we have evolution DAO. We'll eventually have DAOs for the offices. And this is really the beauty of running a purely decentralized network is you create the incentive, you tell the people how to do it, and then you take applications, right? And then people come in, they'll give you the business model, and if they do a good job, they'll earn money. And so these DAOs that we'll fund, they pay back to the network, right? So as they earn money, we receive it back in the form of fees, and then that money then gets paid out to the clients. And so this kind of becomes a complete replacement for the fractional reserve system. And users get to control their own keys. So it's a completely a better system, in my opinion, because we really want to empower the users. We want people to control their own money so that people don't have to be scared of bank runs anymore and things like that. Plus, we can do this all in a purely decentralized way with all of this fantastic new technology. So that is it. This is what we're planning to do. This is how we've spent the last few years writing all of this documentation. You can go to dash.org, click the evolution link on there, and you can look at each of the white papers and how we're planning on accomplishing this if you want some more detail. Also, we have 2 other presentations today. One by Daniel Diaz, and he's going to be on a governance panel this afternoon. And we have one by Node 40, which they are a provider of masternode hosting services, trustless masternode hosting services. So if you don't want to host your own masternode server on our second tier, you have them do it, and it's pretty much effortless. So they're going to talk about how they've decentralized the infrastructure and figured out how to provide these services to our users. I would call them another DAO too. So they're a very interesting company. I highly recommend checking all of that out. And we have a booth outside if you have any questions for me or anyone else. That's it. Thanks.
Wow, thank you. Wow. This project has evolved so much since I've last checked in. Yeah, I mean, totally. So thank you. That was an incredible presentation. It's like, wow, miles and light years in such a short period of time. I mean, I know Dash is kind of like the tour of money, like this completely anonymous coin. And I know you guys did the rebrand a few years ago from Dark Coin. So wow, it's just amazing to see people that are known for those kind of values really standing up to do something like this. So congrats, for sure. And so we do have a break actually. So even though some of the presentations ran over miraculously, we still have about a 7-minute interval. So if everyone wants to go outside, meet everyone, I'm going to be speaking in track 1 on Bitcoin as a tool for human rights and activism. And we have 2 different tracks. They're both on the schedule. You'll see the first person, there will be 2 people listed at the same time. Obviously, first person listed track 1, second person is track 2. And I hope to see you guys after the break. It should be about 7 minutes and then we'll pick back up. Thank you.